everybody's so different. We've come from diverse backgrounds, and I really like to see people bring that authentic selves to work.
99 FM, your inspiration station. It's Sibo and Mo in the morning. And for this Royal Hustler, thank you so much to Namdeb for bringing you a Royal Hustler of note. And this morning, we have Mr. Jauque Jansen. He is the Senior Finance Manager at Namdeb. And he has more than 16 years experience in managing the finance sector and in this large corporate. He's also a member of the Executive Committee, and he takes accountability just for the full finance discipline, including the supply chain, the property management, and the information management side of things. And being passionate about the development of business leaders, he has really built on his technical background in the areas of strategic management, leadership, and executive coaching, which has equipped him in this leadership journey, as he's also a firm believer that leadership will drive the transition of business into the fourth industrial age. And so what a manager to actually have, and what also an honor to have him in studio. Mr. Jansen, welcome to 99 FM.
Thanks so much. It's great to be here.
No, we're very, very, very excited to have you here. And honestly, your leadership style is what I really want to get into. But before we get to that, before we get to the man that you are today, let's take it a little bit back to the man who was growing up and wishing for great things for not only himself, but for the country as well. Tell us about your childhood and where you grew up.
Well, I was born in Namibia, born in Windhoek. I'm a single child of two teachers. So my childhood was really characterized by strict parents, but also very caring and very loving parents. I was fortunate enough to be exposed to their way of the way they taught the children at their schools, and I think that really set me up for the future. Knowing that learning is very important, it's what really differentiates you from being somebody successful to somebody that's not.
And being the only child, were you the naughty one because you got all of the attention, or
sometimes I thought I wasn't the naughty one, but I still got spankings for things that I didn't do.
As per usual. So you mentioned, your parents were both teachers. That must have exposed you to a lot.
It did. It gave me the perspective around what teachers actually go through, because they need to put in so much raising other people's children. By the time they get home, you sometimes feel that they are so tired, they're so exhausted, but they were able to still, teach me what it is to be a teaching person in the community and in whichever environment you're exposed to. So I'm really grateful for that.
And did you see yourself in finance growing up, or were there other dreams that you thought, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be an engineer?
Strange enough, I never had any of those.
Really?
At school, it was sort of, for me, straightforward. I was going to become an accountant.
No.
And that's what I worked towards achieving.
Wow. At such a young age, you already knew who you wanted to be. How was the journey to you being in the finance sector?
Well, as I mentioned, at school I started doing accountancy when I got into grade 8. The first time I really saw it, and I enjoyed it. I found it very, very stimulating, and that really set me up for the future. So when I went to university at the University of Namibia, I enrolled in a B accounting course. I completed that. And I was able to do my articles. So that's the traineeship that accountants need to go through. I was able to do my articles at KPMG here in Windhoek. I did that for 3 years, and during that time, probably one of the hardest things to do was working as well as studying. So I had to get through that, and then I graduated as a chartered accountant after that.
And here you find yourself in this position. What is your most favorite thing about being in this managerial role?
Initially, if you spoke to me a few years ago, I would have said I like the numbers.
Okay.
And dealing with the numbers. But over time, I've actually grown to love working with people.
Okay.
I actually find that quite fulfilling. And I find that it stimulates me. So that is where what I've grown into these days.
We are still speaking to Mr. Jauque Jansen, Senior Finance Manager at Namdeb, and I want to dig a little bit deeper into his passions, and more so him being an amateur runner. Off air, we were talking about 90s R&B, and he's like, Keisha Cole sounds nice, so here's Heaven Sent for us to enjoy. 99 FM, your inspiration station. It is Keisha Cole saying Heaven Sent. And in the background was Morris says he's ready when I am. Well, I'm ready now. I'm ready now. Are you ready? You're good. He's good. And off air, we're talking to still for our Royal Hustler this morning, Mr. Jauque Jansen, Senior Finance Manager at Namdeb. And he was just telling us off air how great the company culture at Namdeb actually is. And Morris and I are saying, yeah, take our CV, take them, take them with you. But Mr. Jansen, I want you to reiterate what you were just speaking of off air. How you have at Namdeb created that culture of go get 'em, Tiger.
It's a long journey. I think it starts with when you bring people on board, you need to make sure that they've got the right the values that drives them. So for me specifically, that's quite critical when we bring people on board, and then we do everything we can to really make everybody feel part of the team. Once we've been able to do that, then we start building on the leadership capabilities, and I think that leadership capability is really what sets us apart from other organizations, because that, I think, drives us into the future to be a successful organization.
So sufficing to say, you just love your time at Namdeb. I am yet to meet someone who's like, oh no, it's okay. Everybody that I'm talking to from Namdeb just thoroughly enjoys working there, which is such a good thing. Now let's talk about your passions. Let's talk about what motivates you when you wake up in the morning. And one thing that I do know about you is, you're an avid amateur runner, and you're looking to run the half marathon in under 2 hours. How's the training going, and how did you get into running?
Well, let's start at the beginning. I think just before COVID in like 2019, I was actually very lazy is the word to call it, because I didn't do anything, and I realized I really need to get into something, just something to get my mind off this constant work, focus, and all of that. So I was fortunate enough to get into running. I really like it. I was very surprised because I'm not athletic at all. So I was really surprised that I enjoyed it so much. And yeah, I'm training now. Hopefully 2 Oceans, that's in April somewhere, I'll be able to do the half marathon in under 2 hours.
Man, oh man, oh man. If there's one thing that I have problems with, it's the running. So I am inspired by you, indeed. Now, before I let you go, I know that, you being in your leadership position and how you're taking care, like I said off air, we're talking about 100 plus individuals under your care. Do you have any career and advice and life advice to our listeners who are in the finance sector?
So when I was reflecting on that, I actually realized, let me tell you a story. I like to watch my daughter build her Legos. And when I do that, I actually realize that our lives and who we are is like a Lego that you're building. There's so many different blocks, there's so many different pieces that all need to go into place at a certain time. So all of my life experiences, I think, helped me to become the person that I am today and the leader that I am today. And much like a Lego, when everything comes together, it just looks great, and it's so different. Everybody's Lego is different from everybody else's. So for me, that is really the leadership story that I like to tell. Everybody's so different. We've come from diverse backgrounds, and I really like to see people bring that authentic selves to work, because then we can really work well together as a team.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much, Mr. Jauque, for coming. We really appreciate you. We hope to speak longer and to speak more during the year, because there's a wealth of inspiration coming from Namdeb, and I'm looking forward to the journey that we have together on Royal Hustler.
Thanks so much, and thanks for having me.
That was our Royal Hustler for this morning, Mr. Jauque Jansen, Senior Finance Manager at Namdeb.
Royal Hustlers was proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation.
Good today, better tomorrow.